Mr. President, it's good to see you again. It's good to be back in Vilnius. For 50 years, 3 embassies in exile in Washington, D.C. stood as a symbol of America's commitment to freedom and independence and the people of the Baltics. Next week, we celebrate the 10th anniversary of your membership in NATO as fellow free nations and close friends. Nobody understands better than the people of the Baltics the value of freedom. And nobody understands better the promise of a Europe whole, free, and at peace. Today, I spoke with my colleagues, the presidents of Lithuania and Latvia, about the situation in Ukraine. Yesterday, I met with Estonian President Ilves and the President of Poland and the Prime Minister of Poland in Warsaw. Just as you did a generation ago, the Lithuanians, Latvians, and Estonians joined hands in a human chain of freedom. Ukrainians have shown tremendous courage to realize their aspirations for a better life and integration into the institutions of their choice. Not anyone else's choice, of their choice. Russia has chosen to respond with military aggression, a referendum rejected by virtually the entire world, illegal efforts to annex Crimea, and now reports of armed attacks against Ukrainian military personnel and installations in Crimea. I want to make it clear. We stand resolutely with our Baltic allies in support of the Ukrainian people and against Russian aggression. As long as Russia continues on this dark path, they will face increasing political and economic isolation. There are those who say that this action shows the old rules still apply. But Russia cannot escape the fact that the world is changing and rejecting outright their behavior. Global markets and international community will and should bet in the long run on countries that reject aggression and corruption, embrace openness, and live up to their obligations. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania understand this well. That doesn't mean that there aren't aggressors out there that require firm and resolute response. There always have been, and there always will be. But it does mean that there are costs and growing costs that come with naked aggression. Madam President, Mr. President, the reason I traveled to the Baltics was to reaffirm our mutual commitment to collective defense. President Obama wanted me to come personally to make it clear what you already know, that under Article 5 of the NATO Treaty, we will respond. We will respond to any aggression against a NATO ally. As someone who fought for your nation's admission into NATO, rest assured, we take our responsibilities very, very, very seriously. The President does, I do, my nation does. That's why we have, in the recent past, beefed up our U.S. rotation in NATO Baltic Air Policing Program, which protects the skies above Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And that will continue to be the case. We've also asked other members of NATO to make additional contributions to this and other efforts, and I'm confident they will step forward. Looking ahead, we're exploring a number of additional steps to increase the pace and scope of our military cooperation, including rotating U.S. forces to the Baltic region to conduct ground and naval exercises and training missions. The question today is not what can America do for the Baltic nations, it is what can we do together? What can we do together? The Baltic nations have shown leadership at the OSCE, the European Union, the Eastern Partnership, and the UN Security Council. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuanian troops have stood shoulder to shoulder with Americans in Afghanistan and have served in difficult regional and global security missions. I know that President Obama will want to use the upcoming NATO summit in South Wales to generate concrete commitments to ensure that NATO is able to meet its Article 5 obligations to all members, which has been a priority from him and me since the beginning of our administration. And finally, we spoke of energy. We spoke about energy cooperation. We have learned the hard way that protecting the sovereignty of nations depends on having more than one supplier of energy. We support your efforts within the European Union to diversify your energy sources, to create more flexible energy markets, and to translate energy innovation into energy security, so that no nation can use supplies of energy as a political weapon or a quasi-military weapon against you. As Ukraine fights for its future, the success of the Baltic nations, your success, paints a picture of what is possible for nations that respect the rights and unleash the talents of their people, as both your countries have done. We're in this with you together. We are absolutely committed. May God bless you and your people, and may God bless our troops. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Great. You got to fill the rest. Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you.